Okay, before my system is kind of slow right now this morning. So my name is Osemenkhian, God's time Ogbeide. I'm infrastructure and DevOps team. So this morning we'll be talking about ElasticBean Stalk. All right, somebody in the team asked me the other day, like God's time, how do you guys deploy apps or deploy to production? All right, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. What did you say?
15 minutes.
Okay. So, there are many deployment methods in AWS or any cloud platform. So today we'll be talking about ElasticBean Stalk for deploying simple web applications. All right. So under this, we'll be talking about computing services, computing models in AWS, then ElasticBean Stalk, then component of ElasticBean Stalk, how to deploy an ElasticBean Stalk, and then benefits. So before we talk about ElasticBean Stalk, we have to first of all know what cloud computing is. Cloud computing is a model that offers convenient on-demand network access to a pool of shared resources. These shared resources can be hardware, it can be RAM, BIOS, like a data center, for example, on Amazon, buys racks of servers, racks of RAMs, many BIOS, many hardware, and then they virtualize this hardware with a virtualization software. So these live applications, they are made available in the cloud. That's what you hear cloud computing. And then these services are made available on demand in the sense that you can access them whenever you want. And then when you don't want to access them, you just stop or deallocate or terminate your environment, and then you stop paying for those services. Now, with cloud computing, you can have a MacBook Pro, you can have a Linux machine in an environment and be using it for example, you want to deploy apps, you want to deploy to production, you just use it. Then when you don't want to use it, when you don't want to continue using it, you just stop it, and then you stop paying for it. Then another person owns the system now. Then any other person that gets the IP address of that system is not the new owner. That's the beauty of cloud. So cloud computing, there are three basic models. There's a platform as a service, there's software as a service, and then there's infrastructure as a service. In infrastructure as a service, it's a computing model where you have major control of your system. You deploy an EC2 instance, you are in charge of load balancing, you're in charge of specifying network, VPC. Am I audible? Hello?
You are.
Okay.
You are.
Thank you. You are in charge of deploying, auto-scaling, you are in charge of most functions. But for software as a service, the cloud provider just provide you a service, or the owner of the software just provide you a service. All you have to do is just access the service and then use the service for your workload or whatever you want to do with it. For example, we have Slack. All you just do is just download the software, you log in, you register and log in, and then create your workspace. Then Google, Gmail or G Suite, all you still do is log in. That's software as a service. The underlying provisioning of the software has been done for you. All you have to do is just use it. Then the last one that we are going to be dwelling on is platform as a service. Platform as a service is in between software as a service and infrastructure as a service, in the sense that in platform as a service, you have some control. Yeah, for platform as a service, example, we have AWS ElasticBean Stalk, and then GitHub. Your GitHub, you register, you can create repository, you can do your commit, you can clone repository. That's for GitHub. It's not just logging in and then receiving the services they offer. Now you can work in your own GitHub space. Then also for ElasticBean Stalk. ElasticBean Stalk, you have the environment, you can upload your code, then ElasticBean Stalk deploy it for you. But there's that point of deploying code, and then there's another point of editing your resources when you want to scale. All right, we'll talk about ElasticBean Stalk, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, what is ElasticBean Stalk? ElasticBean Stalk is an automatic application deployment service. The platform as a service, like we said, it's provided by AWS for deploying and scaling web applications. ElasticBean Stalk is believed to be the simplest and most easiest way to deploy web apps by developers. You actually don't have to be be an expert. In fact, from a newbie, if you're a developer, and you don't have any idea on how to use ElasticBean Stalk, you can actually use ElasticBean Stalk. With ElasticBean Stalk, you can deploy codes written in different languages. You can write your code in Python, or Java, or .NET, or PHP. All you just do is just zipify. You zipify, and then you go to your environment and then upload the code. You select your environment. You select the language you've written your code on. If it's PHP, if it's Python, if it's Java, you just select ElasticBean Stalk automatically provision a server for you. For PHP, ElasticBean Stalk will deploy a Apache web server. Then for .NET, deploy an IIS web server for you. All you just do, you just specify the environment, and then you upload your code. The ElasticBean Stalk will run all the underlying requests. For example, if your code specifies that, okay, in your code, ElasticBean Stalk will detect that, okay, you'll be needing an EC2 instance. You'll be needing an EC2 instance is just like a server. It's like your Cloud9 ID. Just that Cloud9 is container. Cloud9 is a container environment. Why for EC2 is a server, it's a web server. It's not an abstracted environment. So we'll talk about components of ElasticBean Stalk. So when you just when you upload your code to ElasticBean Stalk, there are things ElasticBean Stalk does underneath it. That's what the core component of ElasticBean Stalk. ElasticBean Stalk provides single interface for deploying your web applications. But underneath this interface, there are numerous components being provisioned in the background while you deploy your code. Some of these components include EC2 instance, your load balancer, auto scaling group, your VPC, your security group. So an EC2 instance is the acronym for Amazon Compute Cloud, like a virtual machine. So for ElasticBean Stalk, when you provision your ElasticBean Stalk will actually provision an environment for you. We provision an EC2, then it will specify an AMI. An AMI is an image, a machine image. For example, your virtual machine, you want your virtual machines to be a Windows virtual machine, or a Linux virtual machine, or a Mac, or a Red Hat, or Redshift, anyone. It will just run it on the line for you. There's EC2 in ElasticBean Stalk when provision. There's a load balancer. For example, your web app, it's such that needs many instances. ElasticBean Stalk will provision those instances for you, and then provision a load balancer. What the load balancer does is it specifies how traffic is being routed. It balances traffic that is routed to your server. For example, you provision your instance in a US+1 or in Europe, and then there are too many requests from Europe. ElasticBean Stalk will actually balance it so that Europe server will not go down because of too much requests. So there's auto scaling group too, though I did not talk about it so that will not take time. There's auto scaling group. There's security group. This security group determines which traffic is being routed to your server. If it's HTTPS, HTTP, or RDP, anyone. So deploying an ElasticBean Stalk, like I said, ElasticBean Stalk is very easy to deploy. You don't have to be an expert. In fact, you can be a novice and deploy ElasticBean Stalk. The only place where you will now need a little bit of small expertise is in managing the services. For example, your ElasticBean Stalk, you deployed it, and then now your web app is gaining popularity. Instead of your 10 users then per minute, your web app is now massing up to like 100, 1,000 users per minute. So there you can now edit resources that were provisioned for you. maybe for example, you provision ElasticBean stock, and ElasticBean stock provisioned a T2 micro. That's like one of the smallest machines in AWS for you. And now you're having a 1,000 concurrent users per minute per hour. So what you do when you now see that, okay, my web app is going mainstream, what you do is just edit your resources. Instead of your T2 micro, you can now increase your machine size to probably a C4, a medium. So deploying ElasticBean stock. The simple steps are, you just, if you don't have an AWS account, you create an AWS account, then you log into your AWS management console, you click on service, locate compute. Under compute, you select ElasticBean stock and click get started. Then you specify your resources, like the name of your ElasticBean stock. Let me pull up an image. Okay, yeah, I have it here. So when you log in your AWS account, you will see the interface. So if you see these icons that are highlighted in orange color, in your AWS account, you will see service there. So when you click service will load, open this icon. The ElasticBean stock is a compute service. So you see it under compute. Compute is highlighted in orange color here. And when you click compute, you will see ElasticBean stock. ElasticBean stock is the second to the last icon on this first image, close to Lambda. So after you've gotten to ElasticBean stock, if you click ElasticBean stock, it will open this interface, the second image here by my right. Yeah, it will open this interface, and then you click create application. When you click create application, ElasticBean stock will open this environment. It is in this environment you will not specify your application name. For example, I deployed a sample application for this presentation. Probably this time we'll look at it. Your application name, my application name was KD app. Then I did a PHP, I edited the PHP code to reference the last cloud automation picture that was designed. I was used as a flyer, and then the image. When you click the image, it automatically take you to the YouTube video that was used that we did for the cloud hosting event. So it was a PHP file. So when you click PHP here, under this platform, this place is not showing clearly, like close to this platform branch. And this choose a platform, if you can see it, when you click PHP, automatically ElasticBean stock will select Apache server for you. Apache is a web server that we host the code, whatever code you are uploading. So after this place, you will see upload down. This screenshot did not capture that part, but when you specify your environment, you will see upload. There's where you upload your code. If you upload your code, you click and create. ElasticBean stock will automatically provision your resources for you. All right, we'll talk about benefits of ElasticBean stock. We've said much about ElasticBean stock. From what I've said so far, you see that ElasticBean stock is a very, very, very important utility in AWS. It's case. Okay, let's run down with what I have here. That's number one. I said it's a very fast and easy way to deploy web application on AWS. Yes, if you have your code, ElasticBean stock, if you are deploying with ElasticBean stock, your web app with ElasticBean stock, it will actually take about, depends on your network, but if your network is very fast, you have a very good network, it will actually take about 2 minutes to deploy your web app to production, the environment. It renders auto-scaling capabilities, just like I said before. When your web app is gaining popularity, and then you have numerous numbers of users, ElasticBean stock will be scaling for you. It will create auto-scaling group automatically. You will not even say anything. All you just have to do is just deploy your code. You just upload your code. ElasticBean stock will create auto-scaling group, create load head check, how the load will be. For example, if you have if your web app, if your EC2 instance that it was provisioned underneath it is if your ElasticBean Stalk will specify that, okay, probably if you get to 70% capacity, it should spin up another EC2 instance automatically. Same thing for it to provision a load balancer for you. ElasticBean Stalk enhances developers' capability by provisioning and operating infrastructure. It also manages application platform for you, so you don't have to be an expert to use it. Yeah. That's all you just have to do is just understand AWS interface. You just go there and then upload your code. With ElasticBean Stalk, you are given freedom to select the AWS platform you need, such as AWS service you need, such as EC2 instance, type, and processor to run your workload. Yes.
Mr. Boyde.
Yeah?
If you
Have you got my
conclude,
time?
yeah, should conclude by now.
All right. So, lastly, ElasticBean Stalk is easy to use and it's highly available. All right, in conclusion, to conclude, for very fast and easy and efficient deployment of your web app, ElasticBean Stalk should be what you should consider. It is the easiest way for developers to quickly deploy and manage application in the AWS cloud. The ElasticBean Stalk, you can create versions of your app. You can also run your application on different environments such as their prod, etc. Thank you. For the web app I provision, I'll just drop the URL for anybody that is interested to look at it on the chat box. So if you have any question, you can ask. All right, thank you. Hello, Jacob, I'm done.
If you don't have any question, you can evaluate your audience.
Does anybody have any question?
Please, you said you would drop a link to the chat box.
Okay, let me copy from my browser.
Sorry, because there's no question for now. You can actually share the screen for them to see how you run it. It's because once we're out of KD, if anybody don't have it, you don't have the link. You can just share your screen, even when you're dropping the link.
Mr. Jacob, what did you say? What did you say? I think
Where you can evaluate your
send
audience.
the link to the chat. All right. Mr. Kings, let me ask you, since you are infrastructure. Peter Kings. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. From what I've said so far. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. From what I've said so far, what other benefits do you think ElasticBean Stalk is to developers and programmers?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I cannot hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Peter.
Okay. One one of the advantage again from what you've said, apart from the fact that it helps to scale, when you have a high number of clients that are running concurrently, the fact that it gives you the opportunity to load balance them to avoid traffic jam is one of the things. It helps so that your server might not be down. That's one of the major things it helps to do. When everybody is hooking up to a particular region, or a particular region where you deploy your availability, where you deploy your instance, for example, or your application, and now that region is down, the fact that it can load balance and then pick up other ones immediately, it's one of the great advantage, because it gives you the opportunity to actually, it shares your network. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so it gives you opportunity to it gives you opportunity to have a more leverage to your traffic error or issue, in the sense that if there are no alternative, no matter how good you are, your instance can come down. But with the fact that you can use ElasticBean to quickly deploy another one, or to scale an instance into different segments, it's that service alone, I think, is massive to developers, because you are not going to rely on one availability zone or a particular region because of failure or what have you. That's basically what I think it's ElasticBean of aid. It aids you that opportunity of having issue with your single instance or single region application.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ogbeide.
All right.
Our time is up already.
Jacob.